As I get older, this is kind of funny. It's just like brother talk, because we're like supposed to be talking about specific things, but we talk about everything every day. I like say things out loud to myself. You ever do that now? Like you just sit there and I just go, well, I'm weed eating this fence line and it's hot. And now I'm like, too much is given, much is required. Like I said it out loud.
You're
like,
turning to mom.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I said it out loud. I'm like quoting scripture to myself to not be like, you know, you and I are just sitting here talking about church on a podcast about grief, serious situations. And like we were, if you ask two people, okay, who are the two wildest dudes in country music the last 20 years? I don't think anybody would pause. They would go, oh, and we haven't even drank in 18 years.
Those 2 years out of the 20 were good enough.
Those two out of the 20 were like, man, those are legendary. We're the guys that still goof around. We've always been that way, right? And the weirdest turn of events, 10 of my closest friends are preachers. I don't want to be a deacon. I don't want to be an elder. I don't want to sing in church. I play B3 organ because they asked me because I think it's fun. And there's a guy in the choir that sings like the guy from Trash Test Dummies, so I crank his voice and the girl drummer, and I'm in my own headphones. Yeah. I'm like, me and God have a deal. I'm like, God, you know I'm doing this just for fun. As soon as this stuff started rolling, random people come up to me and be like, man, I saw your brother's podcast. It was awesome. They all watch it, and they all love it. To walk into the fire and talk about hard times, grief, and to hear Casey Beathard's story, I mean, that is the worst fear of a parent. And then it comes true to that person, and you listen to them walk through it and talk about it. But I think those are the people that find peace. Like a lot of people wouldn't know this, but like for you to have this set up and these microphones sitting here and these cameras rolling and to be doing this and recording Scott Hamilton and Sonia Isaacs and Al Andrews and just interviewing people about grief.
I can almost feel that you could feel that this is not scripted. Like there's no grand plan. This is definitely adverse to my personality, yet one of the most obvious things I've ever had to do. Man, like doing this podcast, that's a yes. More than one person. I wouldn't say tons of people, but I've had quite a few people mention to me specifically on a text, man, our friend Chris Stevens is the one I was gonna give you. He said, man, the mild profanity is a must. It really helps me get through that. And I'm like, why? And he goes, it just takes the BS layer off that. Some people, and when you lead with the scripture verse, well, it says that you've just lost some people. And the fact that I can't do that is gonna help somebody.
I've relived that day in my mind a lot. Because when it all happened, and you got the call, we're in the middle of a writing session, and you came back in and you said, I gotta go. I got a call that Sage isn't breathing. And the world changed right there. For me. And I said, let me drive you. And we've done everything together for years. But she said, I got to do this by myself.